You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Bachelor Recap Edition. I'm your host, joined by Nick. Rough morning. Joined by Allie and Amanda. Psyched myself out there. I got nervous with Julia here. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm with a pro,
No.
a seasoned pro. She's been doing this forever. Julia Cunningham is our guest today. Welcome. How are you? It's good to see you.
Nick, thank you for having me. I feel like the least famous person to ever step foot and like so honored that you would
That's not true.
have me
me.
on. No, my God. I was like, when you hit me up, I was like, what? So thank you for having me.
I apologize for not having you on sooner.
Well, I was going to say you, not to air our dirty laundry, but you DM me like right when you announced this podcast, being like, you have to come on as a guest. And that was like 7 years ago.
Like 4. But yeah.
So I just appreciate getting the call. Are you kidding me?
I'm a man of my word. You know,
Totally.
I didn't tell you when.
No, exactly. I'm just honored.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love The Bachelor and I love The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise.
You've been watching.
I've been watching for a long time.
And you've
yeah.
been recapping the show probably before it was even a thing.
You know, I want to say we obsessively would talk about it back on the day. I work at SiriusXM. We had a channel called EW Radios through Entertainment Weekly, and obviously that was a huge brand for Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
So our entire channel would like obsessively talk about The Bachelor, so much so that Robert Mills, who is an executive at ABC Walt Disney, became my co-host. So he would give us a lot of behind the scenes dirt and dish, and we've been doing it for a long time. And so, I'm obsessed.
It's great. It's good to have you here. I'm excited to talk about the show with you.
Yeah.
You have excellent takes, and
I'm sort of curious where you are also within the season. I was catching up on your podcast over the weekend, and I'm curious where you feel after this most recent episode.
Let's do some housekeeping notes quick before we get into it. Big week this week. The one, the only Raven Ross is with us on Going Deeper. It's a big one. It's real juicy. She really spills all the tea about her and SK, all the rumors about the cheating and the infidelity. She goes into a lot of detail, like all the details.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
She really covered it all. Yeah, and we're the only podcast, I believe I'm not sure if she did other like smaller interviews, but this is the only podcast she's doing. So if you want to hear Raven Ross share her full truth from beginning to end, it's this Thursday on Going Deeper. It's a real juicy one.
Oh my
really
God, I can tell by your face that
It's
this
good.
is an unhinged episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's good for us. And I feel like it was therapeutic for Raven. And not really good for SK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the truth isn't good for you, that's on you.
So
you know?
sorry.
There you go.
Bye.
Yeah, that's true. So that's Thursday. Anything else we're missing?
Yeah. If you are listening Tuesday morning and you were a caller on the show and you want to send in a little update, please do that. We might be able to squeeze you in. We have Better Date Than Never, our live dating podcast on AMP that is happening Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And Viall Files is on TikTok now.
Are we talking about oral sex this week?
Yeah, we are.
And
Yep, we are.
for anyone wondering how that theme was selected, Nick on live radio said,
Next week, we're going to talk about oral sex.
Well, it just seems like there's a lot of misinformation out there.
My favorite thing about this show is I try to plan in advance and then just on the live every week. Nick is like, and next week we're talking about blank. And I'm just like, great. News to me. Good to know.
On the fly.
Yeah.
Also, a happy Valentine's Day for the people listening.
Happy
Valentine's Day. If you are in LA with nothing to do, come to the Grove because I'll be at the Barnes & Noble signing copies of Don't Text Your Ex Happy Birthday. So come hang out from 5 to 7, I believe.
What a beautiful Valentine's evening that could be.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Bring your friends. We'll, you don't need a date. We'll be with one another.
Yeah.
And I think we might even do some Q&A. It'll be interactive. So come hang out.
And if you have coupled person's guilt and you're in a happy relationship and your friends who are single are going through it, get them a book. It's a great gift.
Get them a book.
Because they don't want to hear that it will happen when you least expect it. That's not helpful, but what is helpful is don't text your ex happy birthday.
Yeah, that is helpful.
I got told that last night. Like someone was like, I believe there is going to be true love in your life. And I was like, cool. Thank you so much.
Well,
Was this person also like a tarot card reader?
No, I don't know.
And it's
Just
very
a feeling.
pandering. Yeah.
to some person in line at Starbucks?
It wasn't a rando. It was someone close in my life that told me that. So I
Okay.
believe them, but yeah.
They have to say that, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are our housekeeping notes. What you put in your body, it matters so much. Imagine putting like corn oil in your car and expecting it to run efficiently. Well, that's what we do with our bodies. Our bodies are our machines, and they take fuel and they burn energy, and you want to make sure that fuel is good. And vitamins also play a big role in the nutrients that our body needs to operate effectively. And if you're someone like me, you've tried a vitamin here, you've tried a vitamin there, and then like you to stop doing it.
Totally.
All I'm saying is vitamins can really play a big role into your overall wellness, and that's where Care of comes in. Care of is an amazing company that keeps you on track and allows you to take the vitamins you need and take them on a regular basis and not forget, not get into these kind of like patterns of taking them and not taking them. Allie, tell us more about Care of.
Yes. So I went on the Care of website. I did a whole quiz. They ask you about your diet, like how frequently do you eat vegetables? How much protein are you taking in? How are your energy levels through the day? What are your goals? Skin, nails, hair, all that good stuff. And so they ended up curating for me this kind of routine. So it's 5 pills that I have each day that come in little packages, little packets. They're really cute. They have my name on them. They have like little motivational things. Like one of them the other day said, go on an unplugged walk, like leave your technology behind and just go on a walk. Or they have little quotes on them.
That's the thing about vitamins. No one's gone out of your way to make sure people are taking it. And it does matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you take fish oil for 3 days in a row. Like, you have to take it consistently for months at a time for 50% off, half off your first Care of order. Go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. That's VIALL50. Again, that's 50% off your first Care of order. That's an amazing amount of savings. Go to takecareof.com and enter code VIALL50. Canva.
Okay.
I love
Whether you're planning
Canva.
an engagement or you have a birthday party or some sort of...
Let's look at the document we were using to all Bachelor Recap. I was able to annotate, add in, make certain pictures dark, add a rose.
This is all Canva Pro?
icon. All of this was done on Canva Pro.
You put a rose there.
Easy peas. Thank you, Canva. Look at this.
I made a whole fake invite for my engagement. Well, I didn't make it, but my team used Canva Pro. It's amazing what you can do with Canva Pro and design like a pro. And now just your ordinary, and by ordinary I mean special, ordinary people just like you and me can look like we hired and paid thousands of dollars to some graphic designer, and you can do it now from the comfort of your home.
Mm-hmm.
It will remove background, things that
That's
it would
what I
take
do
a while.
for our thumbnails. Yeah. So for YouTube, for all of our episodes, I'll take a screenshot of a guest we had or Nick, remove the background. I'll get in there nitty gritty and take out remaining little chunks of the microphone, just make it really clean, really seamless. I would say our thumbnails look pretty good.
Yeah, and I think if you're trying to do any kind of personal branding, whether you plan on using this as invitations for the girls'
birthday
weekend you're
party.
going on,
Yeah.
or if you're someone who's trying to create content on social media, Canva just makes it so intuitive. You can pick the size of your graphic, and one of them is Instagram story formatted or Instagram grid post. So it really does integrate seamlessly with all the potential uses.
They have motion options. So if you want to make moving graphics or download them as more of a video format, that's also something that they're capable of. So it's really unlimited.
Design like a pro and be the star amongst all your friends and family. Collaborate with Canva for teams. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you go to canva.me/VIALL. That is canva.me/VIALL for a free 45-day extended trial. Canva.me/VIALL.
I think let's do some tea. Let's check in with our Bachelor Nation.
Sure.
Nick, I do feel like you may have rattled some cages over last episode.
What does
do this
that
time?
mean? Is that ruffle some feathers?
I believe so, yeah.
I haven't
cages.
heard that before.
I envision a little kid in a crib,
Ruffle.
trying to get out.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Well, you had your comment saying that no one's liked a Bachelor since you. And I think some people didn't agree.
I can imagine my critics. The point still said, I mean, what do you want me to say? My point was...
You're like, I'm just telling the truth.
Well, but it's based on the fact that, like, name me a bachelor who was as likable leaving their show as they were coming in. And it's just like, and the point is, that's a crazy thing for me to say because, like, clearly I was a polarizing character on the show. I don't know. It just seems, it's just like, to all my critics out there, yes, I know some people don't like me. I get it. It's like, I think it's like...
Shut up about it already. We know. Yeah.
I think it's like if I say something nice about myself on this show, my critics, they'll be like listening and they think to themselves...
Go insane.
And they're like, no, we hate you.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Like, I think they lose their mind. It's just like, it's okay. It's fine. I don't know. I think some of them, that does please me, I guess, sometimes knowing that, because like, I didn't like hear any of the comments, but anytime I rattle cages in Bachelor Nation, I'll get like DMs.
You want to be the bell curve. You don't want to be the one that's hated or loved. You want the both reaction.
Yeah, and so I'll get these comments of people who are like, "Did you see? I'm glad someone said this about you." And I'm like, I don't. And it's just like knowing that people will invest all this emotional energy to just try to like disagree or to let me know that other people disagree. It's I don't know, but like, don't worry, Bachelor Nation. I am aware that some people don't care for me. You can rest easy.
You're like, I know about it.
I know.
Well, I think it was Bachelor Dana that did a post about how every season there's been articles about how, quote, boring this Bachelor is, all the way back to like Juan Pablo.
Yeah.
Even I think Sean Lowe, maybe even prior to that. And I feel like if you're watching it and upset about the excitingness or boringness of The Bachelor, you're watching the show wrong.
Right.
Because the point of it is the women. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, The Bachelor, to me, you can inject any person into that role. It's really about how the women, that's what I get excited about watching, is the women interacting. So it's like, yes, of course they're boring. Let them be boring.
They're a placeholder.
To serve
the food.
To serve, exactly, all these incredible women that we like fall in love with and become obsessed with.
And when they're not boring, you get someone like me, and a lot of you didn't care for that. So like,
yeah, which one do you want?
Yeah, which one do you want? Make up your mind. Like, fuck, shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the kind words over the past week.
Uplifting.
Love
It's
letters.
supportive. No, it's like it's nice to know you care about me. Honestly, it's nice to know you're invested in my life. It does mean a lot.
And still, that's what I think.
Well,
is
that's another
impressive.
thing. It's just like I am. Say what you want. Deal here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No. There's someone listening right now, just losing their mind, just dying,
driving off the road.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else we got?
Erich Schwer did his first interview since The Bachelorette, since the split, I guess, really, with Gabby.
Yeah.
And he talked about the relationship. He talked about being on the show. He said, quote, "I will say that I struggled personally with my mental health during my last relationship and wish I could have coped with them better. I was learning how to navigate the loss of my father and a new engagement all at once on a public scale," which is definitely, something that not a lot of people talk about. He does say that he's ready to look for love again, but is taking it slowly.
Well, that's good.
So we wish Erich the best.
I met him once. Really nice guy. I really felt for him. Went through a lot emotionally. I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah.
Do we know anything? Like, did it kind of seemed like a very, like, it didn't seem like it was a particularly nasty breakup in terms of the details we got. Like, I felt like it was like a mutually announced split. Did you guys get a vibe that it was one person or the other?
I had lunch with him once in the middle of the season. It was like kind of a mental health. He lives in LA, and it was just like
like wellness
took
check.
him out. Yeah, it was like a wellness check. Took him out for dim sum. And he didn't like share any details about the relationship, and I don't ask because I don't want to put them in a spot. But there were like conversations about like, well, like if you're in a relationship and if it doesn't work out, and his ears really perked up for those conversations. I remember because I remember not knowing for sure, but assuming that he was with Gabby. It's an impossible thing to be in those relationships while it's airing, regardless of what's going through, and he was going through a lot. So I don't know. I didn't really get any information from him, and I haven't never talked to Gabby about it. I just think
it imploded.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a foundation there, and it was kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah. She was doing Dancing with the Stars, right? Like right after.
Yeah.
That's like your mind's there.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And to make these relationships work, you have to really want it to work. You really have to want it to work because it's truly...
Like every possible thing is stacked against it in terms of a relationship of like watching them hook up with other people, like seeing them fall, and then the public eye all of a sudden, and then this like idea that like you could question whether their choice to like propose to you or get engaged to you is just a product of like just like
you know what I thought about this episode is like how pissed Zach's fiance is going to be all the times he's sucking face with Ariel. Because, like, I don't think he's going to end up with Ariel.
No,
I could be wrong. I don't think so. But he really likes making out with Ariel. And it's, like, clear that he is physically attracted to Ariel. And we haven't really seen anything else. And I'm watching this and being like, she's going to be so pissed. Yeah. Whoever she is.
Well, also, he says, not to jump ahead to the episode, but just as a teaser, I guess, he also says to a woman that he's about to send home, he's like, when I saw you get out of that limo, he basically was like, I wanted to bang you so bad. She like basically stops him and is like, shut up, calm down.
Yeah.
It's like,
you don't want
his
to
fiance's
anymore.
going to see that and be like, all right, we get it.
Yeah. No, it's, so it's just a really tough thing to, the Bachelor's like asked to do these impossible things and said, hey, this is part of the role. You got to do this. And then like you're engaged and you have to pretend like none of that happened. And you have to have these crazy conversations with the person you're with about like, well, like I didn't mean it, but like I meant it. But like, cause it's like you either, none of it was true. It was only you, or you're kind of a liar, to all. It's like, it just sucks. It's a really shitty situation. So
and you can't even go out for like a normal dinner together in public because it's all secret hush hush.
Yeah, it's really
weird. Well, I think also especially in their relationship, like watching Gabby's journey about finding meaning in her own love language, and putting a lot of that on Erich probably, and then him struggling with the loss of his father, going out of the bubble. I mean, it seems like it was going to be doomed the moment it hit the real world.
Yeah, there was a lot of trauma.
Yeah, there's a lot of trauma
in that relationship that I don't know if anyone was grounded enough to
totally.
To be,
that's hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
but they seem to both individually be on the up.
Yeah,
we wish Erich well.
We wish Gabby well.
I think Gabby's already
I would
doing
be the Bachelorette
well.
again. I would watch another season with Gabby.
You would.
I loved Gabby.
I loved Gabby.
Mm-hmm. Oh, spectacular.
Yeah.
I think she's good.
Wow.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I hear those cages rattling.
I'm trying to fight. I'm rattling the cages.
I thought she was really great. I just don't know if I need to see another season.
All right. I mean, I guess that's fair, but we would.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And again, totally okay if you disagree. It's fine. It's what we're here for. Here's something you might never have thought of. Why does laundry detergent come in massive plastic jugs? Who wants that? Yeah, who wants big plastic jugs?
Yeah.
No one.
It's also up to 90% water. So you're actually not even just paying for pure like soap ingredients. You're just wasting a lot of your money. And washing machines already use water. So why are we putting more water in it?
Also, 91% of those jugs are not getting recycled.
What?
Woof.
700 million detergent jugs wind up in our landfills every single year.
Well, not with Earth Breeze.
Well, first off, going back to the giant jug situation, which is very true, Earth Breeze just comes, it's almost like a little cardboard like envelope. It's so sleek and tiny, fits in my little closet very perfectly, and I just pull out the sheets I need. And you can partition the sheets of how much stuff you have. So I had a very full load. I did like sheets and blankets. So my washer was filled, and I looked on the back of it and it said, if it's up to the brim, use 2 sheets. If it's not, you can use 1, or sometimes you can use a half a sheet. So I just threw 2 sheets in there with all of my sheets and
all your sheets. And they smell good.
Yeah.
They're clean. Their packaging is compact, biodegradable, and plastic free. Their eco sheets are vegan and cruelty free. They have their buy one, get 10 initiative. Each purchase donates 10 loads of detergent to a charitable cause of your choice. A whopping 30 million loads have already been donated.
One thing I love about them as well is their sensitive skin. Like they're safe for that. They're dermatologically tested, and I myself have very, very sensitive skin.
I as well.
So I need that.
Nick tested. Allie tested.
Amanda tested.
Now's the time to try Earth Breeze, because right now my listeners can subscribe and save 40% off. Wow. That's savings. Go to earthbreeze.com/VIALL to get started. That's earthbreeze.com/VIALL for 40% off. earthbreeze.com/VIALL.
Alrighty. Well, Erich isn't the only one talking about previous relationships or exes. Michelle commented on a couple different guys. She said that she actually wanted to send Clayton home earlier on her season, but wasn't allowed to.
Ooh.
So I thought that was interesting.
Kind of no shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you know that?
Duh. Wait, she wasn't in the
Clayton? The man who came in 8th, who got sent home on his one-on-one, right?
I was going to say, like, in a museum. It was like a boring museum
with
date.
Kids or something.
You took him on a date just to send him home.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we know. All right, anyway.
And she also spoke about Nayte and their relationship ending. She said it was my dream ring. Apparently that was her dream ring.
Wow.
She loved the like pear shape, and she was saying for future engagements she's going to have to figure out a new ring because she's not going to be doing a repeat.
She can't get a dream ring again? Yeah.
Would you want one that looked exactly the same?
I'm just surprised it was
that she got her dream ring through Neil Lane.
I mean,
and they
Neil's
ripped it
wonderful.
back out of her hands.
Yeah.
Neil Lane ripped it back out.
What else she said?
How much control do you have over the rings?
Not much. Yeah.
Oh, okay. She said, I wanted the relationship to work. I was willing to put in the work for the relationship, and I had the person take off.
Ooh.
That's not something that I bluntly said before because Instagram and there's all these other things, but I know what it looks like to work through a relationship, and I know how hard relationships can get, but both people have to be capable of doing that.
Those are harsh words.
Those are harsh words, but also what everyone was screaming and telling her entire season with Nayte.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't emotionally mature. He had never been in a relationship before. He didn't know what it meant to be in a difficult place.
Yeah, I don't know, but we had the pleasure of talking with Nayte. I also had the pleasure of talking with Nayte offline,
solo, yeah,
and on the show, and Nayte was very generous with his truth.
Right. I remember the headlines coming from that.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone has their, and they didn't work out, so clearly they weren't on the same page. I think. I know Nayte felt like he survived that relationship.
Wow.
And I don't think I'm not overselling that. I'm underselling it. Yeah.
Jeez. But does he have anything to compare that to? He was never in a relationship before.
I don't think you need to compare it to
feel like you
survived
something.
Knowing what happened.
Wow.
And the shit that went down in that relationship.
Oh my God.
And Nayte shared some of it, but like that was tip of the iceberg type of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think
so. Nayte for Bachelor now? Is that what you're saying? Maybe.
Oh.
I think Nate's a plus person. I've gotten to know him. I think he's a real genuine, down to earth guy, and I think he really cared about Michelle, and I think he was really in love with her, and I think he truly busted his ass to try to make that relationship work. Wow. And then I think he felt like he had no choice. It was either his like mental health and his well-being or that relationship.
Wow. Let's get him on Paradise.
So,
and I do feel like that's the like root of so many relationships ending is the one person being like, we can fight through this, like don't give up on me, and the other person being like, no, like enough is enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was just like it all depends. If you're again like if you want to fight for a relationship, that's awesome, but like you can't be the one being the reason why there's so much to fight for, so to speak.
Or about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, strong words by Michelle.
Strong words.
Michelle was so polished throughout the entirety of her season.
More. Yeah.
And well, I think there's a part of her that maybe just wants to be a little bit more raw and honest. And I can totally imagine how from her perspective, it was like these were little things to her that you could survive, and she must have felt really like abandoned and walked out on. Versus from Nate's perspective, he's like,
I know
this
too
is
much.
not a healthy place at all for me.
I know too much. There's no way to interpret it as like, well, they could have this interpretation, and they could, it's just like.
But did you talk to Michelle the same kind of in depth?
No, but I saw receipts.
Okay.
Anyway, I could be wrong. You're right. I wasn't there. I could be wrong.
I want a reunion show after that you should be hosting, a la like Love is Blind, like bringing the couples back together.
Oh yeah, like
that.
mediation.
Because, yes, like a mediation.
I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them on one big couch. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like after the fact or something.
Yeah.
Something to think about, ABC.
All right.
Something to think about.
Although you might have to fight Tyler Cameron on doing a reunion show like that because
sure, yeah.
he got asked if he would ever return to Bachelor Nation as a host. And he said...
They asked him as a host, or they asked him if he ever returned to Bachelor Nation?
No, as a host.
Oh, okay.
And he said, I mean, maybe one day. I think it's the coolest job in the world. Travel around the world and say 8 words per episode in peace. Like, it sounds fantastic. But maybe one day. Right now, I'm too busy.
That's a great answer. Good for him. It's a great answer.
I just thought it was funny. It like makes it seem like Bachelor producers are like banging down his door to be the host, when in reality, I feel like then everyone on the season would just be gunning for him. So I don't think that would be an effective
watch.
Yeah, we would watch that. Yeah,
That's true.
I want him to be the Bachelor because I think it would.
Yeah, come on, bring out the big guns.
Yeah.
I just think I want him to be the Bachelor for very different reasons than other people want him to be the Bachelor, because I know that everyone would be disappointed.
I mean,
and it has nothing to do with Tyler. I think he's a swell guy. It's just like he wouldn't be able to live up to the outrageous expectations that Bachelor Nation has of him, and he would just, we've said, he would just look like a fuckboy.
Yeah, probably.
You know, he would be too good looking and too charming. He has too much swag and all these like charming lines he's saying. You know, like part of the reason Zach looks likable is because you don't believe he's even capable of taking advantage of the fact that he's has all these women to pick from, and then he's super humble and truly believes that like he almost doesn't deserve or belong in this role, and that makes it charming and like, yeah, okay. But like if it was Tyler, it was completely different.
It'd be amazing. He'd be banging everyone. Yeah. Everyone would be fighting. I think it'd be a brilliant mind.
Season, he'd be like, hey girl, you know, it's just like, it's okay. And like, all we have is one life and it's like fine. And he would
and then he'd end up with like some model that he met on Instagram anyways. Just walk away.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, where I feel like if we ever wanted to do a celebrity Bachelor franchise moment, I feel like few people could maybe pull out some of the larger names as contestants on the show, like Tyler Cameron. Like if he were the Bachelor, I feel like at least pseudo-celebrity Bachelor.
Or would that be its own
I'm
show?
down.
Yeah.
I'm down to watch it. I think it would be fun.
Finally, something that I thought was, as we transition into the episode, our good friend Christina, you know, she went home last week. An insider has come forward to say that she got very drunk on the first night of the show and flirted with other women. The alcohol led to her becoming handsy with other contestants, hitting on them. And the source alleged that she tried to kiss Becca and grab another girl's hand. Because she was becoming a headache to producers, they were the ones that convinced Zach to take her on the first one-on-one date.
I don't believe that last part.
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me how that makes sense, though? If this person's a huge headache, putting her on a one-on-one so that way she gets...
Yeah, well, that last
they think
part
she's going to get sent home early?
That last part is silly. The producers knew who they wanted to go on the one-on-one before the season started. I'm almost...
Sure. I mean, she's Christina Mandrell. She gets her full name. Of course,
and she had
single first one-on-one.
She's a single mom, set the stage, you know, like that's not that. It wasn't because she was misbehaving and they needed to like prove to Zach. Like if they thought she was that much of a problem, they're like, you know, you don't need this.
Exactly.
Headache, you know, like we're just going to.
Slash, they love it.
Yeah.
Make her Bachelorette.
I'm so bummed. I mean, I believe some of those rumors because I was shocked she went home.
Yeah, me too.
She was excellent television.
I loved it. I was devastated she was sent home.
I mean, she had it all. She had the personality. She had the kid. She was
crying on the stairs. All of it. It's like classic.
She was like rude to people and didn't understand why. She was completely lacked complete self-awareness. She was a dream.
Yeah.
Is that a TikTok? I feel like someone should make that a TikTok sound, being like, help me, help me, help me. It's like me to my dad when I go to the mechanic, you know? I do feel like that is like a level of desperation that I find in my everyday life.
Yeah. No, we should do, once we wrap up here, Amanda and I know what we're doing this afternoon.
She'll definitely be back on Paradise, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Bags are packed.
There were women on my season that at the time, it was like, do you really care? And I'm like, no. They're like, okay, we're going to send her home because she's just kind of a pain in our ass.
Oh.
And that generally pain in the ass is more around to do with like, listen, it's The Bachelor. It's a crazy environment. Weird things are asked of you. It's a TV show. So like, just get on board and go with it.
Cry like everyone else.
Or don't, you know, because there are people who will show up and they'll point out the cameras and they'll like start being like, they'll start critiquing all the conversations. They're just a distraction to like people kind of getting in the mindset of like falling in love. And yeah, it's like, listen, if you don't want to like get into the bubble and you don't want to like manipulate yourself into falling in love, that's fine. But like, this isn't the world for you, so to speak. And
Don't ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, you kind of get sent home, but some of those women still ended up in paradise.
Well, because they want to go for fun to paradise.
Yeah.
They're down for that.
Yeah. And they just kind of get another shot at like not being a Debbie Downer and not raining on other people's parades. But I just don't think you get sent home for misbehaving.
No, they love that.
They're like, just
I
do it
feel
on
like they
camera.
promote you. Yeah, exactly.
No one was more drunk and more inappropriate than Corinne on my season, and they made her the star.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah. And we had and they just... That's the difference between me and Zach. I was like, how do we get her to hometowns?
Exactly. Take me shopping.
You gotta meet the nanny.
I was like, I gotta meet the nanny. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm, Anyway. All right. So we into the season. Are we ready? Is that it?
Let's head to the Bahamas, baby.
All right, Julia. What do you think so far of this season of Zach? How are you liking everything so far?
Well, again, as I say, as like a Bachelor franchise apologist outside of all of its like flaws and issues, of course, obviously. I'm not a monster. I'm aware of how terrible it is, But I also, I watch the show specifically for the women the same way I watch The Bachelorette for her. Like, because the men are less exciting, kind of. Their drama always feels slightly ham-fisted or something like that. With the women, you can genuinely tell that bonds form in the house, that they're friends, friendships drop out, that they become jealous of each other, that the insecurities just flare up so quickly. I like seeing people go from 0 to 100 within a confessional. I love it. So I watch it more for them than for Zach. But of course, Zach is boring and dull, but that doesn't even bother me in a way, because I like him the way that you described him. Like he doesn't think he should be there, and he's like taking it very earnestly and like genuinely just wants to find a wife, I think. And like that I find actually like a breath of fresh air. Like I think he's genuinely trying to date them, which I think is actually sweet.
Oh, very much so. He's taking this very seriously.
It's so seriously. It's like I bet he keeps like a notebook after each date, is like keeping things about these women to like refer to later, which I think is adorable.
That wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
No, it's like he's... you watch it and it's like there's certainly plenty of things to tease, and we will tease. Yeah. But like I think I haven't met him. I think he's a high character stand-up guy.
Yeah, like I think he and his fiancée will like fade into a normal life.
Yeah, maybe it depends on who he picks.
Maybe it depends on her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if he had his way, they would like live probably in like Anaheim near his parents.
If he had his way, he'd be the next Sean Lowe for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And the fact that they keep bringing Sean Lowe back maybe tells me that maybe they believe in this relationship.
Yeah.
Because they could have edited Sean out.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
His casual FaceTimes with Sean.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
It wasn't really groundbreaking TV, but maybe that
they're like the tonal comp needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they believe in this relationship.
Yeah. He also has just enough awkward personality where you like root for him, because you're like, yes, you shouldn't be dating all these hot women. You're like that nerd who probably bloomed late and like randomly is hot. You know what I mean?
But I don't think I was thinking about this episode, because starting this season wasn't like, wow, he's so hot. But I don't think his promo photos do him justice, because on some of these dates, like the dinner portions, I'm like, no, he's an attractive
dude.
Very handsome.
I don't think the billboards that I see of him do him justice.
Well, look, when you're in the Bachelor franchise, you're all 10s, but the problem is sometimes there's 12s. And then when you're sitting next to those 12s, you look like a 7.
And
That's
also the
problem.
scale is off, because that's the thing I'm always struck by. Like when people come in studios, it's like, like you look up at them, and it's like
huge.
You forget what it means when like this man is like 6'4" and like how
his presence.
Yeah,
I know when he was on the boat, he had his like hand on her back. He's like putting suntan lotion. I was like, oh my God, his hands are giant. He's got to be like 6'4" or something.
I heard he's 6'4". I heard he's a big dude. He kind of has a Kermit the Frog voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Putty doing Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, kind of. It's when he's always squinting with his face, and he's kind of always spins his head when he's thinking.
I feel like he's gonna be the dilfiest dilf there ever was. Like, doesn't he just have like really hot dad energy? Like the guy who coaches his daughter's soccer.
I was gonna say
team.
he's gonna coach soccer.
He's totally gonna. Yes.
But I don't know if he's gonna be the dilf.
When you're
it depends
a child,
on where he ends
though,
up.
I mean, he has no swag like at all.
But as a kid, you don't. Like, I think he's like,
who's trying to fuck him?
All the moms
this is
at the school.
Why
I'm
does
saying
the kids have to do with it?
I just mean like, okay, everyone. All the kids, I think, would have huge crushes on him. Separate thought.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He's a swell guy, but he really has he's got absolutely no swag.
No.
Like none.
But I kind of
0.
appreciate it. You know what I mean? Because it seems like
I'm indifferent. But
like, I think in a way he needs a woman who's like a little bit more outlandish, pull his personality out, be the fun one in the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, I think, going to be the ultimate partner for him.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
And then he's just super proud to be like, yeah, look at my like swag wife.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is generally just a great thing to feel, just to
absolutely
feel like you won.
And like that you're proud. Like, look at my wife.
Like, wow.
That's what he's going to be like, I know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Because when he went on his one-on-one date with Rachel and they were doing the fake red carpet thing, he was like gesturing like,
oh my
ta-da!
God, yes.
Like he was authentically doing, because at first I was like, I don't know you well enough to know if you're just like amazing at playing the game or if that's who you are. But now I'm like, that's who he is.
Yeah, he definitely will be like play that supporting role to who his main character, fiance.
Yeah, he'll be like
wife.
blushing in TikToks 6 months from now behind her.
Yeah. She'll be directing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like the turn back the clock approach to kind of traditional Bachelor that they really are committed to this season?
You know, I don't mind it because, you know, even bringing up like Sean Lowe, like I feel like it has been a solid minute since we've had just like he's genuinely seems like he's here to want to find a wife and get married. And that's kind of refreshing.
And like, yeah, doesn't think like this is
like he's not just spitballing and picking dum-dums and whatever. You know what I mean? And even like right now, I'm not 100% sure who I've decided who I think like wins. You know how usually like by episode 2, you're like, well, it's clearly who he's obsessed with, who he's going to pick because he's an idiot or whatever, you know?
I think
I have some like front runners based on our one-on-ones, but I'm sort of like, I could see him end up with like 3 different women right now.
Yeah.
Katherine and Katie for me.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're Katherine, Katie, but I think Charity is going to be up there.
Charity's going to hometowns.
Yeah.
And I think Ariel. I think it's like Ariel's making it to
wants to
fantasy
bang
suites.
Ariel.
He wants to bang
He wants to bang Ariel. I also really like Greer, but she hasn't had a moment yet. I want her to pop.
I don't know.
She really is.
I know. She's cute, though. I think she's like naturally.
Abigail.
I think Jess is going to be top 4. There's something about Jess.
I keep thinking there's something about Jess, but like we're getting to that point where it's like
she was
bathed
her in
to
glitter
like,
last
oh my gosh,
night.
yeah, there's a lot of glitter,
and it was not the first time that Jess has worn glitter to a rose ceremony.
No,
can
you're
I
trying
just say?
too hard. Yeah, no.
Well, let's get into the date with Katherine. He seems to really like Katherine. They go to the Bahamas. I will always get a kick out of, you know, the first time they travel and Jesse comes in, or, you know, when it was Chris, it's like, get ready to our international travel, and he's just like, it's like Miami, you know. I mean, there's Miami.
It's like somewhere Southwest Airlines flies.
Well, it was better that when I mean, Bahamas is a beautiful place and it is world famous, but
when you keep saying international.
Well,
Ohio.
Technically,
Yeah,
but like when you plan
The state
international,
capital.
like I want Thailand.
when we
Yes.
went on Annie's season, our first destination was the Mohegan Suns in Connecticut. And
What?
And Chris comes in and he's just like, and we're gonna go where love started in this country, one of the most romantic places, romantic New England. And I was like, oh, amazing. I was like expecting like these little villages.
Yeah,
and,
take him to like a cutie place in Western
Here's
Mass.
a casino.
And we like took this like just very depressing bus ride from Boston Airport and then this gloomy
Logan.
day into Connecticut in the middle of nowhere to this like, you know, casino.
Also, shout out to Chrissy, who's from Connecticut. But can I just, as a New Englander, I think Connecticut should leave. I think they should secede. I don't think we should kick them out, but I think they should secede because I don't think they're loyal enough from sports fans. And I also think, I would argue, I'm going to really come for Connecticut right here. I think it's one of the most loveless states in the country.
Whoa.
Yeah, because it has Greenwich. Like, think about all those, like, cokehead, like, wine mom, like, cokehead husband, And I just think
I feel like the new thing on
throwing
their
a net.
license
I
plate is
had no-
most loveless
I had
state.
no affinity to it when I went, but I would have rather gone to the Bahamas than the Mohegan Sun.
Well, I'm always like, get everyone in bathing suits. Why ever go someplace cold? Like, everyone should be looking top tier.
They should.
Yeah.
Anyway, Katherine gets her one-on-one. He really likes her.
Kat looks like a model, and I've never dated a model.
I know. I was like, you're such a loser, but I love him. You know.
He talks like most guys when they are really just physically enamored by someone. He's like, she's smart and she's funny and she does it, and it's just like you think she's hot. You're just
when they bury
hot.
the lead of beautiful, when they're like, she's smart and beautiful and funny, like it's very intentional.
It felt like he was operating like he was reading a thesaurus, because the list was like, she's goofy and funny and she doesn't take herself too seriously. I'm like, all the same
Like, I just
thing.
want to see her
Like,
naked.
She's a huge silly
He's
goose.
like, I just want to get her to fantasy suite so bad. Fair enough.
Anyway, so they swim and stuff, and then they go on a date. I didn't really understand what she was saying.
I wish we would have gotten some more details about what went down with her mom.
They made it sound very serious and
but said nothing. Yeah.
But said absolutely nothing. It's like, I know, I didn't really get along with my mom. And there was a period of time where like I didn't live at home.
But what does that mean? Did you live with your dad because they're separated?
My grandparents.
Did you
or
go out
friends?
on your own?
Did you sleep in a car?
Yeah.
Your high
How
school
old
boyfriend.
were you when you weren't living
And
at
maybe
home?
Zach asked more questions, but like, and maybe Katherine is a wonderful person, but as we've learned on this show, sometimes, listen, we all deal with trauma. We all have our attachment disorders or whatever, but we need to work through that shit, And it's kind of like Zach was more like, thanks for sharing. I love you.
Yeah. He was like, not listening. Just thinking about your body.
Not important. What do you think about like clothes?
He was like, you're not going to spend time with your family anyways.
Yeah.
When you are in a relationship with me, it's about my family.
I just
his
was
energy.
really curious about like, so like, how have you worked through this? Is it still something you're processing?
Well,
how does that think that affects you now in your relationships? Like, none of that. Just
compared to like Gabby talking like in such detail that it was like such a blanketed statement, where also it brings me back to what I think is becoming like a trope of these contestants, going back to Ben Higgins, who was the first to kind of be like, I feel unlovable. And everyone now is like, I just feel like I might be unlovable. It's like,
you showed up
you're
for
hot
the Bachelor.
as
Yeah,
exactly.
you're
Like,
stone
what are you
cold
talking
10.
about?
Like,
You're a 10.
You're so
you're
afraid
loved.
of not finding love that you auditioned and went through the entire casting process and competed with, literally
to date one person.
To date one guy and get picked amongst 30. But you're unlovable.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what are you talking about?
Your greatest fear.
And it's like hot people have insecurities too, but I just feel like they're not going to get as much sympathy about them.
But anyways, I'm a little concerned for Zach. Again, maybe it was all said, but he and I've been him before multiple times where it's just like, it's fine. I'll be your savior. I'm your hero. It's
Exactly. I'll save you.
Yeah.
I'll fix you. I'll save you.
It's fine.
This was sort of the first time that I was surprised that he didn't have follow-up questions. I think because he was so enamored by her that he wasn't really, I think the same where he's like, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. So I don't really know where to go from here, because I was surprised that he didn't talk more to her about it.
Is it me or all the women talk and say all the right things about Zach?
Right.
But none of them look excited. Even with Katherine, he would say something and she'd be like, yeah, me too. Like kind of, sure, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever. Yeah.
Whatever, man. Like, do I get the rose or not?
Oh.
Is I'm the only one who kind of feels that a little bit? Or
we need Christina. Bring her back.
Yeah, because she really sold it.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of this episode, I think it was on the date with Katherine, where he was describing his feelings. I think the fireworks were going on. He was like, it was like 2 meteors like collided to create a star, and I'm like, I haven't been in like science class in a while, but I don't think that's how a star is
Is that
made.
how that works?
Like, how is
It's fireworks.
it's like just 2 watermelons smashing together to make an orange? It was just like, what? Like 2 cars colliding, and all of a sudden a train came out of nowhere.
Well, He definitely tries to play it smart. Like I was expecting with his date with Katie a full week ago when they were in the museum for him to be like, dinosaurs and people were on Earth at the same time. I mean, he's a little bit of like a...
Yeah, he's a little Ross Geller.
He's a little, it's a little like, what did you just say? Yeah.
Yeah, so let me talk to you about some facts.
He comes off bookish, but I don't believe he's read books,
Interesting.
A star is born when atoms of light elements are squeezed under enough pressure for their nuclei to undergo fusion.
So not two rocks colliding in the sky?
I don't know. What happens when two meteors...
I'm going to text my space boyfriend about this. When
meteors collide. What happens when two asteroids collide? A giant collision of the cosmic create a thick plume of dust that spreads through the inner solar system.
Like a fart.
That's not two forms of... That's not light.
A galactic fart.
Close enough, Zach.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Yep.
Two rocks colliding.
It's like that TikTok where it's like two whatever stringed together by a... Hello?
Wait. Say more. I'm trying to pick up.
I wish I could. It's like two eggs.
What?
Two Christmas tree ornaments filled with jingle bells.
This is Zach.
But it's like two meteors
I
held
can picture
together.
Zach wearing like a Christmas sweater and pouring eggnog. Zach is Clark Griswold.
Yes, he's a little Clark Griswold. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it work for his family.
Trying to make it work, just loving his family.
Wants that promotion at work.
Yeah, just the simple things make him happy.
Jesse Palmer's Uncle Eddie. Cousin Eddie.
There you go. Anyway, so he has Katherine gets a rose. He's super excited. She's super excited. Everyone's excited. It's been two strong one-on-ones between Katie and Katherine.
Those are my finalists.
I know. I was going to say, those are my top two now.
Top two, right?
After these one-on-ones. Yeah.
And similar looks.
Yeah.
Like there's a type
Has
there.
a type, totally.
And also the type of like airtime that they're getting is very much like they show reactions to sentimental things.
A lot of Katie helping the other women this episode.
Yes, I was going to say she's like the big sister in the house.
Yeah. But she's also saying like it's tough. Like she wasn't back at the house during Katherine or Kat's date. I was like, don't panic too early, Katie. Like you just had an overnight date. Like don't get in your head.
Yeah, but I mean, they're constantly being bombarded with like, so you get nervous? Haven't seen him in a while. I mean, like, I don't know. To me, I keep saying there's something about Katherine who just seems like she could, lose it at some point.
Maybe.
Like Katie seems a little bit more grounded and secure with, maybe some therapy's gone on there,
There's definitely like an emotional maturity with her.
Yeah.
I feel like Katie could be the therapist.
Sure. But it's Katherine, again, lovely, seems wonderful. I require therapy. I don't even know where Katherine is in her emotional journey, but she seems at some point to just like, if you rub her the wrong way, if you push her just enough, I've nothing to go on. But it just...
Well, she also can't put together full sentences, clearly, because she couldn't really tell a story about her mom. So that's also like a red flag.
Could have been edited, I suppose.
Could have been edited.
Because they did edit when Gabby and Erich were on a one-on-one at one point. I remember this so clearly because it left a weird taste in my mouth about Erich that was then proven wrong. But I think they edited it out because Gabby was really spilling her heart out. And I think Erich then responded by saying stuff about his family that they cut because they wanted a dramatic hometown moment. And so I kind of wonder if we're going to get a dramatic hometown moment.
Because people broke that down on
Maybe.
TikTok. That was the one where she left the dinner. She stood up and went with producers. And people strung it together where like they saw his mouth moving. Like there was more dialogue.
That happens all the time. And there's these people they want to save some of that stuff for later
for big
on,
reveal.
For big reveals, especially if they're going to go to hometown. So to that point, this won't be the last time I think we get into Katherine's family history. She's going to hometowns, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Well, but that's the thing is I think it's going to come down to a classic top two, almost going back to like Chris Soules, where it's like, is it the person you should be with or the person you're infatuated with? And Katie actually reminds me of Whitney, who we ultimately chose a little bit.
She does have that vibe. And I do think it's something that the show maybe has gotten away from. I think I've told this to producers, but like, and I was very into Vanessa when I picked her. And I thought Rachel was great and Raven was great and yada, yada, yada. But I always thought that if they casted one other person who I was more into than Vanessa, that it would have been an amazing season because Vanessa probably would have then been my runner-up.
Ooh.
And maybe wouldn't have had the same protection as the winner. And I think that they would have had a lot more, like it just would have created more drama.
Yeah.
And I think if the lead really likes two, it makes for a great season.
JoJo Lauren.
And usually
so good.
Usually the lead is like by the time it's done, they've kind of made up their mind.
They've already decided. It's already boring by time.
And you can kind of sense it. But when a lead is really torn between two, it's good. It's really good. And it's been a while since I think they've had anything like that.
Yeah.
I think Ben.
Well, before Clayton imploded, I did think the Susie Rachel, like they were kind of neck and neck.
Well,
for
it
a
could
lot
have
of
gone
the
either
season.
way.
You're right. Actually, with Clayton, it was more Clayton just not really.
You know what? God bless him, though, because I loved that.
That was amazing. Yeah.
It was incredible TV.
But that's not the point. When it gets down to the end and the lead still hasn't decided, that's good. That's
it's
good
so
TV.
good.
Yeah. And I would like to see it with someone other than because Clayton, it wasn't unless I think he was just so limited in his emotional experience.
Totally. I mean, clearly.
And I think Zach is really grounded and thoughtful, and you can tell, despite being too young for Rachel, that he was emotionally. I think he thinks things through. Like he really, and so it'll be interesting. I'd love to see Zach really be torn at the end and see him kind of process that, because I think it will be a little. I could see it getting really messy for Zach, which would be kind of fun, but I think he'll ultimately handle it well.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be curious to see what his parents think about his top two and if they sway him in any way, because I love, even back to like Ari with like Lauren and Becca, when his parents were like, pick Becca. And he was like, really? And then he did. And then was like, I made a huge mistake. Because I think the parents do weigh heavily. Even going back to Chris Soules, they were like, no, it's not going to be Becca. Pick the nurse. Like, what are you doing? I love when the parents have such hold over their sons.
That was definitely
Don't let her go.
As soon as Vanessa walked in, they're like, "Oh, Nick's gonna pick Vanessa."
Were they?
Oh
my god, hilarious!
And they liked Raven, but they were
they were like, "It's come on."
They knew.
Nick, come on.
They knew what I was gonna do.
Yeah,
and it wasn't so much what they wanted me to do; they just knew me.
Well, oh my gosh, and also classic, obviously, Peter's insane mother. Shout out.
Well, that's what I was referencing Barb. Where it's like,
Barb.
bring her home.
Yeah.
That was a great season.
Oh my god, incredible.
Her at the AFR.
Yes.
Oh.
We need some dramatic parents, hopefully, from Zach.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get dramatic.
I think they're
parents.
way nice.
I think
and
they're
just
very
chill.
grounded and very
because
chill.
we saw his mom at the birthday, and she was
she just seemed excited,
Really
whipping out
normal.
her baby book, having the time of her life, being nice.
I hope she goes mama bear on him and is like, don't pick the hot model, pick the nurse who loves you.
Zach is just, I think, just emotionally too healthy.
I know.
He's healed.
Damn it. That
really is
nice
delicate.
childhood.
Yeah. All right, then we have a group date.
They went and sipped cocktails on the beach and did some limbo and a little dance circle.
We need to have
conch.
Can we have? Oh, that reminded me that was a really on him and Catherine's date, that dancing sequence. They gotta stop doing that.
I was
to
like,
Zach.
was
That's
there
mean.
music playing?
Probably.
And what's worse?
It's true.
Both were bad, because if there was music playing
was
and that's
the
how they
whitest-
were choosing to dance.
That was the
Oh my
whitest
God.
dancing between Katherine and Zach. I've
That
ever
belongs
seen.
on a wedding dance floor.
It's like most robotic.
That was That was white. That was so white. That was really bad.
And then he thanked her. He's like, thanks for bringing that out of me.
Yeah. Can I kiss you?
Thanks for bringing that up.
Oh my god.
But anyways, more of the awkward dancing happened
Yep.
on the group date.
And I think I called it when we said who's gonna be the villain now that Christina's
Did
gone.
you say Anastasia?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. And
Nice.
she
So
came
contrived.
out.
So contrived. I'm team Anastasia here.
Oh.
Even though
Wow.
she said that she was scared
For her life.
from
Okay,
Kylie.
she might have exaggerated a little bit. I think they are both wrong. And it was Kylie?
Kylie.
When Anastasia got sent home, she looked so guilty from that point to the rest of the episode.
She was like stone.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, I just can't believe this happened.
Here's what happened. At some point while they were traveling, this happens all the time. So when they travel, it's like there's no cameras. It's a totally different energy. You get a little looser. You get a little more.
It's where the friendships form,
and
I'm sure.
Like, life seems a little. You're literally back in the world. It feels a little normal, and you start like having like real conversations, like what life might be like outside the show. And at some point, these girls started talking about social media or whatever, and Anastasia said something. Anastasia, Cleopatra, whatever.
She does feel very connected to her.
She does feel very. I didn't remember that. And she made some comment that was more like factual,
Yeah.
Like,
this
hey,
is what's going to happen,
I mean,
probably.
I don't know, like, yeah,
Unless
we've
you're a
been
big
here for 4
dud.
weeks, or we might have, I don't know. So like, whatevs. And none of those women probably thought anything of it. All probably they were probably like, tell us more. I'm like, really?
Because I
50,000 followers. Meanwhile, Zach was probably pissed. He's like, I only got 60,000 followers.
Like,
You're gonna get what? That's probably why he was so offended. And Kylie, when all this drama happened, like what is it?
Anastasia.
Anastasia, she overreacted, and then Kylie responded by also overreacting and like basically told on her, because like you could tell that Kylie knew that what Anastasia said wasn't that bad. Like she did say what she was accused of, but in the context of what she was saying, I think Kylie knows that she didn't do anything wrong.
Because they mentioned that it was something about her. She does her own business stuff. Like, so I think she's already done some like
what is her
influencing.
job? Is it like what was her
I think
job?
it's like brand content, something.
Literally
or
social
other.
media.
And so I think what she was probably
Content
saying,
marketing, like.
yes. So I'm sure she was like, so
her fucking
here's
job.
when you're at this tier, like these are the kinds of brands you want to target. And then, you'll probably all have like 50K going on the show. So for you, I would recommend it. Like it was definitely within a larger sentence.
100%.
And it was taken like,
because also they couldn't throw anyone under the bus to be like, so-and-so was asking about it. They had no names to say anything. And it's also just both like, bottom of the barrel, you're not really making an impression. I've got to like get in the mix. I'm gonna like just grab onto something and
and Kylie
throw it
saying
at the
things
wall.
like she looked devastated. It was like, I always do this, and like I don't want, like she was outing herself as someone who kind of admitted to getting caught up in drama and then reacting and then feeling bad because it was like, well, you did this to me, so I'm gonna do this to you. Like it was so obvious she was telling on herself for the rest of the episode that she basically won the fight of two people fighting over nothing, making something up to like make themselves feel better, and she won that battle, but like she knows it's just a matter of time before she loses the war.
And ultimately, because she dragged Charity into it by being like, look, I didn't even hear it myself. This was learned knowledge from Charity. And then afterwards, he didn't even go up to her and be like, hey, thanks for filling me in. He was like, Charity, it means so much to me that you're so honest and loyal to me.
Yeah.
So she didn't even win, ultimately.
No.
Right.
She's going to get sent home in another week.
Yeah.
Totally. What did you make of the initial interaction? Can I talk to him for a second? Can I just have a few more minutes? Like, which side did you fall just with that
awkward.
bit?
The tension.
It was awkward.
No side. It's just a game of chicken. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It was just a matter, like, Kylie won because she was like, I'm not moving.
Right. And Zach offered up nothing, so it means he doesn't care about either one.
Do they tell the Bachelor whatever, like, don't get involved when they're deciding whether or
generally
not
the Bachelor's job to, like, not participate in
to referee?
Oh, because sometimes I feel like they're like, can I just have one more minute? I'm just wrapping up the conversation or something.
You can, for sure. If Zach really wanted to, I think your point,
where he's
Julia,
like, who are these?
Is what matters more, is like he didn't really care
Yeah.
Yeah.
about
He's like,
either of them. So he's like,
he was like staring off at the ocean when they were like having their argument. He could not care less.
But I think the job of the Bachelor is to not eliminate drama, but to just let it play out. You just let it percolate. You don't referee unless one of your people is really involved, and then you get a little protective, or you might ask for more time.
Don't fight with my girlfriend.
Yeah. But like Anastasia was like, they all are interrupting each other. Everyone interrupts someone. You just don't see it. Like when we watch it, most of the conversations we see starting is after the interrupting has already happened and they're in the middle of the conversation. everyone interrupts someone and they just choose to show it sometimes. So you heard her kind of reference that. She's like, I'm always getting fucking interrupted. I'm always getting...
People have asked for a few minutes
asked
before.
for a few minutes.
And I
like,
gave it to
that
them.
is all happening. So it's not like you saw her frustration play out. She's not making it up, things like that. And so Kylie probably got sent in there and was probably like, hey, this is going to be your only time and blah, blah, blah.
Make it worth it.
Make it worth it. Like, you're not here to make friends, blah, blah, blah. And she won the game of chicken, and it's that simple to create a little bit of nonsense.
Do you think producers then went to Anastasia and were like, wow, was she going to fight you?
Probably.
And probably got in her head.
Probably.
Because it was weird that she went from 0 to,
Yeah.
I mean, of course I love it, but 0 to 100 of, she was going to hit me.
She said she felt attacked.
Yeah, I was I was attacked.
Well, did she ever say hit me? But it was more like...
but it was that energy.
Yeah, it was that energy. It's
she's
I felt
after
attacked.
me now.
She's after me. I felt attacked. Fight? Who said anything
Yeah.
about fight?
It's like,
I was
what?
just trying to make love. Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I'm hit each other.
100%.
Bachelor Bowl.
Yes.
Bring it back.
Shove her.
No, 100%. It was like, wow, that was intense.
Aggressive out of nothing.
That was, yeah. She probably got asked all those questions. That was intense. Were you, man?
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable. I couldn't imagine what it would be for you.
If I were her, I would have walked back to the group and been like, look, I just got interrupted, but Zach's now sitting with her on pine needles and at the base of the trunk of a tree. And that's not going to last more than a minute. So whatever. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, she's blowing something up.
Yeah. It does not go well for her. What is the deal with Gabby? I'm so enamored by her character arc.
Gabby's she's a dark horse.
Yeah.
She's like a rising supreme somehow.
Because they had
into
that
her.
bad
Yeah.
encounter. They had that awkward bad
Yes.
encounter, and she panicked. And then she kind of I remember it was the following rose ceremony, really rose.
Yes.
And I think she's continuing
And
to
she was
climb.
Greek chorus this whole episode, talking
Yeah.
the whole time, setting up scenarios. I was like, where did this come
from? And
from?
then she said at the end, when she got at the rose ceremony, she said, I've never met someone who's just like me. Or some version of that. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, people say crazy shit in this world, but that seemed like it was coming from somewhere.
Yeah, and she was
Yeah.
in a male specimen. Do
Yeah.
you remember she said, I've never met someone who lives like me in a male specimen?
I wonder, are we getting, not to bring up Sean Lowe again, but are we getting Katherine Lowe
Right.
story arc where it's just
rising.
She's, and was she getting a one-on-one in the next week's clips?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
it.
she was.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
here's this girl who's
Dark
getting
horse.
no attention, but they keep airing her. They keep airing her commentary, her kind of losing her kind of mind, but they're not showing why she's losing her mind. So I think she's getting time with Zach that we're not seeing. She's building this connection, and then they're only showing her. You could argue she's getting winner edit.
Yeah.
Because winner
this
edit
episode,
doesn't
I was
always,
I have to learn her name now.
Yeah, winner edit doesn't always get the best edit. They're not the most protected.
That's interesting. I mean, I love a dark horse narrative where she comes out of nowhere and gets all the way to hometowns or top 2. I mean, it seems hard right now to see her at the level of Kat and Katherine, but we'll have to see after her one-on-one.
I
Let's
should
go to
start saying
Vermont.
nicer things about Katherine because she could be the next Bachelorette for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I think she's great. I just think there's just something
I
there.
know there's something.
It feels like maybe she reminds you of an ex-girlfriend who yelled at you once.
Who? Which one? Katherine?
No,
Is that why you said she had crazy eyes?
I don't think she has crazy eyes.
You've definitely said that before.
Crazy eyes?
Yes.
You're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not.
Play the tape back. Crazy eyes?
Yes.
I think she has a bit of crazy in her.
I think maybe you
I don't think she
said
has
her
crazy eyes.
expressions sometimes got a little...
She just looks like she's holding in some anger.
I think she's really invested.
Sure.
To me, I didn't really see this huge disparity in looks
I
between
mean, I
her
am probably
and Zach.
projecting with someone I probably would have dated for sure.
Well, she's a little Raven-y, actually, kind of.
Catherine?
No, Gabby.
Oh, Gabby.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like where she kind of rose through your season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, she's a threat.
Yeah, there's always a brunette whose name you need to
Yeah.
learn midway through and then becomes a front runner.
Totally.
But yeah, Gabby is. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting edit where it's just like, why is it? Because you're watching it as if it's like right now she's almost getting the edit as if she's one of the you're going home in a week.
Yeah, we
kinda,
hardly knew you.
that we hardly knew you. You're constantly there. The only airtime you're getting is like you're just panicked and insecure.
Yeah.
And
you're the
in the
decorative
background
lettuce
crying.
on
Yeah.
this crudité plate.
and yet they just keep. It's just they keep hanging around, and she's saying these things where it's just like I don't know.
And
Yeah.
Zach validated her in a previous episode in a way that felt really real, where he was like, we are connected. And I do think, and they played like the awkward music during that episode where she was like, meh, 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 I'm in my head. But when they were going back and forth with the whole like, can I call you Zachy? Like,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
yeah. And
Cringe.
it said something, well, she said something about Gabrielle, but there was just one moment where she was like, maybe you can call me that. Like, he was like, can I call you that? And she was like, maybe later. And they were playing like the bad soundtrack, but were they playing like more like their like bow bow music? I think it would have seemed hot and like they were flirting.
Yeah.
Is my analysis. Sweet Gabby.
Yeah. Might
Then
be
he-
a front runner.
And then with Jess, he said to her, he's like, he gave her the just trust me kind of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which reminded me of like things I would say to like people like Christina on my season, which I knew I wasn't going to end up with her, but I also knew she was going to get a one-on-one.
Right.
So it was like, hey, listen, like,
You're going to be good for like a couple more weeks.
yeah, I was trying to
Don't
find
freak
ways
out
to,
yet.
Yeah, it was like, don't freak. Yeah, that's kind of, and I felt like Zach was giving Jess that kind of like, you're good. Just,
We're going to make
I
out.
haven't had time for you yet. You haven't had your moment yet, but like definitely not going to pick you. But like, but I like you. You're cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to make out with you at
I
least.
really like Jess. I want to see more of Jess.
When Jess was talking about how she wants to split up the rose, I was like, it's giving Katie Heron at the end of Mean Girls when she breaks up
Yes,
the
break the
tiara.
crown.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves a rose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The glitter was too much. I was
a
like,
lot.
it's
I didn't
too like
notice.
trying to draw
How
attention.
did you not know?
I was like,
Notice.
you're 23
Yeah,
is showing.
you're so
and then no
young.
shade, but
But Sierra used to do body glitter, and I felt like she did it in a much more subtle way. To the
Yeah,
point where I was
where
always
she was, like,
oh.
shimmering.
I don't
Yeah.
remember any glitter.
And with Jess,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
bam.
Jess is like,
Also
I heard
'cause-
stars were here from colliding rocks.
yeah.
Jess wears like just tube tops constantly, so it also looks like she's just naked next to everyone else because it's like just shot up, just glitter.
Yeah.
She does.
Like she's naked.
Yep.
A
Naked
look.
and shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Greer's gonna go home without a one-on-one.
I think
Yeah, she's
possibly
kinda
I want
fallen
her to
off.
pop, but I don't think she will.
And I don't think we're gonna get a 2-on-1 this season. There's been no real.
But
That's why they should've
I
kept
did find it
Christina.
interesting when Anastasia left to go cry. It was Greer that took her,
Sure.
and they were holding hands, and she was holding her
Yeah.
while she cried. I didn't know they were friends, but
I wonder if they're roommates also.
Mm.
Where it's
I know.
like-
I need more of the dynamic of like who's friends in the house.
Yeah, we haven't got any
Yeah.
of
Like,
that at all.
I would love to watch them fight about who gets what room at an Airbnb or a hotel.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I feel like
totally.
that's always like the most tense part of any vacation.
Yeah, when like Victoria was like sleeping out on the couches during Matt's season,
yep.
right? Was it
Yeah.
Victoria was actually sleeping on the couches when they were getting into fights in the hotel, and she kicked that other girl out of the room, or she would like refuse to sleep in the same room as another girl and was
Yep.
sleeping in the lobby couch of the Mohegan Sun or whatever from Matt
The
James'
queen-
season.
queen on the
Yeah,
couch.
Queen on the couch.
I forgot about her.
Classic.
I know.
Never forget about Victoria.
And then Davia, poor Davia.
Justice for
Oh.
Davia. Such a stunning woman. I feel like she's the most stunning one out of everyone.
Yeah, she definitely. But I also a classic where he's like, "No, I'm totally noticing you. We're gonna make out."
that was almost mean.
and
what
then
Zach
I'm gonna
said.
send you home.
He's just like, yeah. He's just like, we had this. Oh, when you got out of the limo, it was amazing. It was wonderful. She's like, yeah, but like, had. I love that she actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that she did that. And he's like, well, things can change any given moment. I'm like, you literally know you're sending her home right now.
Just like send her home now.
Like, why did he say that to her?
Well,
Yeah.
that's also the woman that he basically started saying to her, he's like, I'll never forget when you stepped out of the limo and you were in that dress. And he basically is like, I wanted to bang you right there. And she's like, what?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, wait, you're a loser.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that energy.
Yeah, no, it was Zach definitely kind of led her on in that
Yeah.
moment because I don't think there's a rose ceremony a lead goes into without knowing who they're already sending home.
Oh, sure.
They've always made a decision. So all those conversations where it's just like, yeah, well, like make the most of tonight.
It's like, you can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, isn't it like 5 a.m.? Aren't you just like, I just want to go to sleep and send home some women and go to bed?
But week 4, yeah, they're still pretty late.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And it was also, he was talking to Kat, and I think I don't know if he was also talking to Ariel, I think, during the rose ceremony. Like, he was not trying to give everyone time. Like, the shot of him and Kat while they were playing pool reminded me a lot of, there was this one date or cocktail party on Ben Higgins' season where him and Lauren like went for a walk, and it felt very like, it's you and I want to spend time with you.
I just want to make out with you.
Yeah. Once the lead has had their one-on-one with their winner, whether they even know it's their winner or not, there's definitely the they want to be next to that person, and they get protective and they almost get insecure because that's, well, now when you like someone, you're worried about them liking you back. So it's like you're trying to build that relationship, or maybe it's two relationships because you like two. Maybe it's him and Katie, and then you're just trying to survive everything else. That's all it is. Once you've had that one-on-one. So yeah, we'll see. What do we think of Brooklyn?
Wow, her story.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like an actual story.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, and with that, it wasn't even. The point that was so shocking to me when she said like she got woken up by cops after being knocked out.
Yeah.
She didn't even tell that to Zach. That wasn't an ITM. Like I felt like she just presented it in a way where it was genuine. It was truthful. She didn't even really go into some of the like awful details, which I feel like is in a way more impressive. She's like,
yeah. I mean, obviously it was a lot, and my heart goes out to her. It's just I do hate that it's about The Bachelor.
Right, the trauma card.
And it's not Brooklyn's fault. Can you just imagine going on a date, like a first date, and sitting down, and like 5 minutes in, they're just like,
or and also feeling like you have to do that to make it seem like that's the only way to be vulnerable to someone.
Yeah. It's just like you say these very personal and traumatic things that happen to you, and like let alone saying it to a one-on-one, but on camera. In an environment where you can't, like, she said this to a guy that she has almost no rapport with or trust or expectation of how he might handle it. It's just like a hope in her prayers. Like, well, I hope he's empathetic and understanding and doesn't
trigger me when I tell him,
or make me feel like I did anything wrong, or, all these things that happen in these very vulnerable conversations. And it's like, why is this happening on a first date?
Yeah, it's intense.
I just kind of hate that for everyone involved. Like, I hate it certainly more for Brooklyn than anyone else. I hate it for Zach, and it's just kind of yucky,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because it's like usually when you go on a date, especially if it's from the apps, you're aware of the fact they could be dating other people. You have no idea. But in this scenario, for a fact you will either get sent home or get a rose that evening.
Yeah.
So it's like even that proximity to like potential rejection and then having to be that vulnerable is just such a sticky situation.
Well, it's just a bummer for her to also have to like feel like forced up, and who knows what she's had on her journey also with therapy, whatever else, of talking about this situation. As you said, like she was very vague when she needed to be about it. So, I mean, I can only imagine, opening that can of worms and then also doing it to, like a guy that she just met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The forcing of it.
On the flip side, certainly like awareness is great, and her sharing her story, hopefully, is a inspiration to anyone going through that type of trauma in relationships.
Well, and also like the pivot of her being able to say, and this one day I woke up and was like, I have to get out of this, otherwise I'm not going to be here, is like, yes, that should be a representation, that I'm sure there's women watching with their abusive husbands right now.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh yeah, I can leave.
Yeah.
Because that's and it's like it is so common. So it's kind of that mixed bag of like, on one hand, she should not be forced to like trauma dump or like go that deep, but it is also like, as much as it's incredibly horrific, it's not incredibly rare. So I do think there's something about like just being reminded that like these people who are like confident and will say respectfully, shut the fuck up, and like it's not just like meek people who end up in really scary situations.
No, totally. I wonder if it's like, or if she feels like she has to fully go there and she couldn't say, look, I was in this really bad abusive relationship, and as I get to know you, I'll tell you more about it. But there is this need of like, I might not make it to that time to tell you more about my abusive relationship. I gotta dump it all now.
I mean, there's a good chance that was her only one-on-one.
Her only one-on-one to like tell her story.
Other than that, like Brooklyn, is there any there, like, do you think she has a shot at hometowns?
No.
I don't think she'll make it all the way to hometowns.
I think she's that week before hometowns.
I think she'd be like top 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a connection, but it didn't feel the same as when he was on the date with Katie or even Katherine. It didn't feel like that intense.
I feel
connection.
like top 4, Katie and Katherine, I think are locks. Something tells me that Gabby is in top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then that 4th spot.
Yeah, it's like Jess, Ariel, and Charity. I feel like are the ones gunning for that.
Yeah.
But and not Brooklyn for sure?
I don't think so.
I mean, unless there's a real moment in the coming weeks.
I could picture Zach like having you just want to bang Ariel, send her home, man. I could picture him like
policing himself.
Like looking himself in the mirror, being like, there's other ways to get your dick wet.
You're here for love.
You're here for love. Like in a different world, like,
yeah,
this would have been good, but like,
I feel like the upcoming cuts are going to be very obvious. Like I'm staring at the list of other people we have, and I'm like, Kylie, Allie, Greer, Mercedes. Like I'm like, it's going to be very. I feel like the next couple weeks it's going to be like, no shit.
There's just no
not
screen
that,
time.
Yeah, there's not that same level of connection.
Yeah, there's some like I don't even know your names still.
It'll be really interesting though with what Zach decides to do with Ariel will truly impact whatever relationship he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just, and especially if let's say Katherine or Katie or whoever he picks, if they were either maybe friends or frenemies or just in any way intimidated by Ariel, and then they go back and watch this back, and he's just clearly
just wants to bang,
just wants to like make out and bang. If he takes her to fantasy suite, and it's just like Clayton, Clayton is the like peak like lack of self-awareness. I'm the Bachelor. I get to do whatever I want because I'm the Bachelor, and these are the rules of the Bachelor, without any like foresight about like this show's gonna end and you're gonna have to deal with your choices regardless of what the producer said was okay or not. And that was like Clayton to a T. And then I think Matt James is another example of someone who like I believe, I think he's since said this, like didn't hook up with anyone, very much was like, I'm not gonna like,
right,
I'm not gonna like fuck up my whole journey by like
banging everybody,
getting a little loose and having to do stuff like that. And then and there's a lot of decisions in between that, whether it's everyone or two or just one or none. But it'll be interesting to see what Zach decides to do in the fantasy suite, because it is a thing that like I know we talk about and we question like who do they sleep with, but like sex does happen. It doesn't always happen and often doesn't happen. But when it does happen, especially not with the people they end up picking, whether it's talked about or not, like that is the one of the biggest reasons why these relationships don't work out, whether directly or indirectly. It's just like, it's too much for these young, for the most part, fairly conservative minded people, to like come in and start being okay with like sex in ways that they have never even comprehended.
And also your friends, like they become so close by the end of this. If you're at fantasy suites with this girl, you have spent extended periods of time with her, you've seen her at the airport, etc. So it's not just like he's having sex with another person who he's been growing up
You've seen her at the airport.
It's
I
like,
like
this is one of my close friends. Yes, it is
seeing
intimate.
Someone at the airport.
It is intimate to see someone at the airport.
Well, also his relationship completely fell off the rails at fantasy suites with Rachel. So I'm so curious if that's going to have anything in the back of his mind of like needing to use that time to suss out the relationship.
Yeah, I could picture him doing that too.
What do we think?
I believe in Zach. He's going to make good choices for himself.
I think so.
What do we think of the promo clip? Sorry, I was just like, I need to say some words to fill in. Yeah, because we saw like a crazy...
I think it's going to be a whole lot of nothing.
I think it's going to be that like he got COVID or something.
I was going to say he's already in a suit.
Yeah, and he's on Zoom.
He went on a date with someone who like tested positive or something, so he got exposed.
You think
then he was like waiting for the cocktail party, and they're like, you can't go because like we have to test you, and like you might have gotten exposed. And then that's when
he's like, I lose a whole week.
He's like, this whole night has been taken away from me. But he's already dressed.
Maybe that's
he's already dressed.
Yeah, because the fact that it's on like a screen, I was like, that seems
I think it's gonna end up being
or something.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's gonna be something stupid.
Yeah,
like he had a quarantine for a day or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, they waited.
The
results, yeah.
Yeah.
Or they send a bunch of nobodies home because they're like, oh, she has COVID, quote unquote.
Bye.
Get rid of them.
Bye, Kylie.
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
the Logan
Mercedes.
Kylie's gone.
Yeah.
Mercedes, though, what is she?
She never got screen time.
She
season,
never got a single moment.
Different season, different lead. You know, like you just never know.
I
bet she'll go to Paradise though.
Yeah, I'm interested in her. She seems very interesting.
But we saw her in the teaser. She had the yellow dress on, I believe, and the kind of like sizzle. So maybe we're gonna get some more out of
moment.
her. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I was gonna ask, is Gabby the only one-on-one next week? Won't there be two? We're like at the halfway point.
I would think there'd be two. At this point, it's pretty much 2 one-on-ones and 1 group date, right?
Yeah, right.
Because like early on, they might have 2
2-on-1.
group dates and 1 one-on-one because there's so many freaking people.
So many people. Yeah. Okay.
So it's going to be Gabby, and then the big question is it going to be Ariel? Is it going to be Jess? Is it going to be
Maybe
Charity?
They had that really good moment in the pool.
Yeah. She
Some
popped.
Some people can make it like Corinne never got a one-on-one. I mean, it's possible to just kind of let people.
Tyler with Rachel, he didn't have a one-on-one right until his
Yeah.
borderline hometown
Oh,
where
yeah.
he freaked.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
so you
the
never-
cinematic gold of him pouring his heart out to her at the boardwalk, and Rachel's just like looking directly
We
into the
just
camera.
met.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I love a stage 5 clinger.
That'll be interesting. I thought Jess had stage 5 clinger energy when the season started.
Yeah.
Well, she can't be. He'll be covered in glitter.
I mean,
I didn't pick up any of that glitter.
you'll notice it now.
You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Julia, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
What a
so
pleasure.
much. It was an honor.
Honor to have you. Come back again.
Oh my God.
Hopefully much sooner
Anytime.
than 4 years. It's my fault.
No.
It's my fault.
I
my fault.
I didn't want to bother you ever. But Nick, you kindly joined us for like a live Zoom recap, which was very nice of
Yeah,
you.
I was happy to come back. Are you going to bring back the show when you...
Yeah, I'm on maternity right now, and so I'm not allowed to legally recap The Bachelor. So this was such a joy to come in and get my recap on.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
And also, thanks for getting me out of the house. This is my
Yeah.
first time
Great.
wearing pants since like my
You
third
look great.
trimester, and
Woo!
getting out of the house, left my husband with the baby.
Amazing.
She was crying on the way out. I was like, bye. So
You should just like stop somewhere after this, do a little shopping, little lunch.
I know I'd be
Yeah,
late.
give
The
yourself a
recap
break.
was so long.
It took
Yeah.
forever.
Nick's a bit long-winded. It's fine.
Took it forever.
Can you please let my audience know where to find you, where to follow you, when you'll be back from maternity leave, and all the great things you're
sure.
doing?
I'll be on maternity for a while, but you can always find me at SiriusXM. I'm on Radio Andy and Pop Rocks. I've got a podcast called All Spoiler Recap, which you guys should check out, that I do for fun, where I basically do like a almost like a book on tape of a movie, usually low percentage on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, and I spoil it beat by beat. It's called All Spoiler Recap. It's off right now because I've just had a baby, but it's going to pick back up this coming weekend.
That's great.
And I don't really do anything on social media, but you can find me there. I'm at Julia Cunningham. So join me. You can see pictures of my baby.
I follow her.
Ew,
Yeah,
she's
Nick
great.
follows me.
It's not,
It's very
you know,
sweet.
You know, it's not
I
groundbreaking.
just,
but
I
it's
just post
nice.
my life. No, I don't use it. So, don't expect much, but
Yeah, it's
you can
always
see
good to
photos
set
of my
low
dog and
expectations,
baby. Yeah, exactly.
It's a wonderful. It's a wholesome follow.
It's a wholesome
Baby
follow.
content.
I'm like the Zach of social media, just
Yeah.
like thoughtful and wholesome.
boring, thoughtful,
Nothing-
and
yeah,
wholesome, but
nothing-
like you can
nothing
count on 'em.
exciting.
Yeah, they won't let you down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you.
Thank you for coming. And thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours, all that fun stuff. Rate, review, tell your friends. And don't forget, on Thursday, the big one, Raven Ross tells all. It's so good. It's
And
so
on
good.
Thursday, our live show, our AMP show.
Yeah,
It's going to be a
AMP,
big Thursday.
Better date than never, 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you are lonely tonight on Valentine's Day in LA, come check. I was about to say, come check me out. Ooh.
My address is.
Yeah, just look at me. We'll be hanging out at the Barnes & Noble at the Grove. I'll be signing copies of Don't Text Your Ex Happy Birthday, taking pictures, meeting you all, having conversations, and making the most out of your Valentine's Day. So come say hi. Don't be alone today. Come hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun. Bye.